Welcome to Friday with Friends. Friday with Friends is our opportunity to talk about the real estate market, answer any questions you may have, and if you have any real estate needs, we'd love the opportunity to be your realtor of choice.
Yes, so we are right in the mix of a series that we have in Friday with Friends called Terms That You Need to Know. And today we are talking about the good old escalation clause.
Because there's a lot of situations that, because of the seller's market that we've been experiencing the last few years, these situations that have never come up before, if you have, even if you have experience in the real estate market, are a big piece and some terms that you are going to be hearing as you enter today's real estate market. So the more we can educate you and be prepared, the more confident you're going to be feeling entering. And we're always here to help. So The escalation clause, tell me a little bit about what it is. Abby, kick it off.
So the escalation clause is language that's added into the contract that basically states, in the event of multiple offers, I as the buyer am willing to increase my offer by a certain amount up until a certain amount to beat any other offer on the table. So it basically eliminates some of that traditional back and forth and really puts their best foot forward for the buyer right off the bat.
Do you want to go into an example or explain?
Yeah, let's do an example.
Okay, so let's say that a buyer submits an offer for $300,000 with an offer escalation clause that says they will pay $5,000 higher than any other offer up to $315,000. Okay, so what that means is they could, if there's no other offer that comes in, they're getting that house for $300,000. However, if there's another offer that comes in at $305,000, this escalation clause makes it so that that buyer their offer turns into $310,000 because they went $5,000 over that competing offer. And so now, without having to do the back and forth, they already know they're now looking at two offers. Now, we talk so much on Fridays with Friends about how it is so much more than price. But if you were looking at all other terms the same and we just looked at price, your offer with the escalation clause was able to just beat out the other offer that maxed out at $305,000.
Yep. And so what Mandy really had, mentioned there were three key pieces of the escalation clause. The first is going to be the original starting purchase price. So in that example, $300,000. The next is going to be the increments that you're willing to go above and beyond the competing offer. So in the example Mandy gave, that would be $5,000. So they were saying, hey, we'll beat any offer by $5,000. Sometimes those increments can range from $1,000 to, 10,000, somewhere within that range. And then the maximum purchase price is going to be the third key number that we're going to see within that escalation, and that's the buyer's maximum price. So in that example, $315,000. So if someone came in at $320,000 as that competing offer, they would escalate to $315,000. They wouldn't go any higher based off that escalation clause.
And that's where it's really, there's a lot of positives to this, but it really is protecting that buyer. In that situation, they were able to get the offer and secure the offer for $310,000 instead of having to go up to $315,000, or up to the $315,000. Now the key is, you have to, when you're submitting the offer, show proof that you can go to that amount. You can't submit a $300,000 offer with an escalation $5,000 up to $315,000 unless you have proof of funds for the $315,000.
And then let's say the offer comes together, you got the house at $310,000 as the buyer. The seller then has to also show proof of that competing offer so that okay, here was buyer 2 that had the offer at $305,000. Now it makes sense that I'm at $310,000 and we have proof of a, actual offer and that buyer's pre-approval letter or proof of funds as well. So the buyer's agent will make sure that that competing offer is, available and you get a copy of that.
And that's why it really pays to have experience and someone who's done escalation clauses. I remember I did my first escalation clause back in the day, and it was to the point where the listing agent was like, we're not accepting. What does that mean? And you as the agent, I had to educate them. This is actually how it works. This is what it means. And here are all the ways that I'm going to be needing this proof of the competing offers. And sometimes as an agent, that experience I need in order to communicate the reality of what I'm actually submitting. So it's one that is very important that every single agent needs to know in this market right now.
Yeah, definitely. And so why do people and agents and buyers use escalation clause? We really touched on the big one is that it protects the buyer so they only go as high as they have to. In our example, the buyer was willing to go to 315, but if they didn't have to, if there wasn't that competing offer, then that gives them, the confidence to put their best foot forward and put that offer together. And it also eliminates that traditional back and forth that we've seen in the past where it says, well, this guy's here, will you go here? And really just pinning buyers against one another. The escalation clause is basically an automatic elevator, I always describe it as, that just goes all the way up, depending on what the other offers are in at.
And we talked about this in our other series, but when you're having that emotion of the back and forth, it is exhausting. And when you are submitting a lot of offers in this market, it creates kind of this just burnout. So the escalation clause has been really valuable. We also hear from a seller's perspective. Sometimes people say, well, I just want people to bring their highest and best. But the reality is what we have found is that actually a buyer where you can only bring your highest and best, there may be a lot of people that are like, I'm not doing that. It's too much. I don't feel comfortable going to my highest level. I will only go there if I know someone else is there. So we actually are generating additional buyers and bringing more buyers to the table to be able to generate that higher offer for our sellers. So that's why we love the escalation clause. We think it really provides a lot of value, not just for the buyers, but for the sellers as well.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to
Friday with Friends.
Again, today we talked about escalation clauses. We're going to be talking some more terms you need to know. And as always, if there's anything you'd like us to speak on in future episodes, feel free to message us. If there's anything we can do for any real estate needs, you can find us at friendonyourside.com. Reach out to us on our social, or feel free to just give us a call at any time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.